But yeah, long story short, check out the song because we're doing Light the Torch. The track is Let Me Fall Apart. The album is You'll Be the Death of Me. So let's do that review now. So Light the Torch, You'll Be the Death of Me, 12 tracks, 43 minutes, the fourth studio album from the band, although they're second under this name after changing from Devil You Know. Released June 2021 via Nuclear Blast, produced by the band with Josh Gilbert comes from As I Lay Dying. 3 singles so far have been released, including Wilting in Light and More Than Dreaming. This is the band's first with Whitechapel's Alex Rudinger on drums and has a Terence Trent D'Arby cover on it as well. So I've had a few interesting little selections go through the rounds tonight. So Tim, over to you now. How'd you go?
So first of all, Alex Rudinger is from every fucking band ever. He's played for Intronaut. I first saw this guy doing drum covers on YouTube like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's how he got. And then all of a sudden, like, he got sponsorships, and then he's fucking killing it. He's a fucking beast.
Nice.
But you know what I love, right?
Yep.
Howard Jones is one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And this is a dude who, like, I don't think people understand just how influential this guy is, because every band that's done screaming vocals with a clean chorus has just ripped off Howard Jones. I mean, End of Heartache came out like almost 20 years ago now.
Yep.
And, well, not End of Heartache. Well, it would have been a Jesse Leach album, but you get the point. Killswitch Engage back in the day when I was a kid were the shit. And Howard Jones was the man. And I love this guy's singing. But you know what else I love? I love drop tune guitars playing fight riffs.
Yeah.
And I love great drums. I love great drums that are just balls to the wall. But then I also love guitarists and drummers and songwriters that know when they're playing with a great singer, when the time is right to kick some ass, and when the time is right to sit back and know Howard's got the melody, let's just let him do his thing.
Impact was
and that's
great
what this album. Pardon?
The impact was great on this. The timing and impact was fucking executed.
There was the thing, Let Me Fall Apart, right? I was listening to that on the drive home today from work. And that build into the first chorus is great. And they do basically the same thing into the second chorus, but there's almost like there's a little bit more oomph in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those moments where, like, you can see the speedometer in the car just slowly rise. Slowly get faster and faster. And I'm like, fuck, this is a good song. This is a fucking good song. And this is like the third time I listened to the album. I was listening to the album when I was working by myself this morning. Yeah. And this is a killer album. This is great musicians doing what they do best. And I know, like for another guy like Alex, I mean, Alex plays in so many different bands, and Howard, you know, Light the Torch is not going to be, he's never going to have the name Killswitch Engage has. But that's a real shame because this is a fucking great album. And if you're into that modern metal style, or if you're, you know, like me and that's what you grew up listening to, then you're going to eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 9 out of 10, Let Me Fall Apart. I'm going to go listen to it as soon as I'm done with this show. That's
nice. No, that's cool though. That's what you want. Because an album that doesn't make you tired of it is really cool. This one had the same impact, but if anything, it got more riveting the more I listened to it. So it's one of those ones that once it's got its hooks in you, it ain't letting go at all anytime soon.
But that's what Howard does best.
Yeah,
he first of all, his tone is fantastic.
He's
both as a singer and as a screamer. Like he's got a very pleasant screaming tone, but he knows he's like I compare him to Bruce Dickinson, where he knows which notes to hit and when to hit them.
Yeah. Yep.
And when will give you the most impact, and when he's just going to build you up, and when he wants to cut you down. And that's what he does spectacularly well, and it's on full display here. So yeah, that's my spiel. Yeah,
you there? We're both.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, cool.
You never cut out. Don't worry.
What was that? Sorry, it's doing some funny things for me tonight. Okay, cool. It's weird. Here we go. Got some comments though. Michael Gower jumped in to say, "I love the new Light the Torch album. Had it on repeat a few times. So yeah, it's awesome." Tim, our good friend Tim, has jumped in. Howard Jones' clean vocals are outstanding. Love to see him front a band and do just an album with clean vocals. Now that would be pretty cool as well. But I do love the impact that he brings when he does do the scream, because he doesn't overdo it, and that's the cool thing that what you were saying before too. Just everything about these guys, their songs, the writing, it's all about impact. But when to do it. It's not just here's impact for the sake, but they actually write, and it's not the generic stuff either, because there's so much of this stuff is just, and the breakdowns coming and all this sort of stuff. With these guys, it's actually more verse chorus than you expect, if that makes sense. They actually rely more on traditional song structure than the new modern metal, but it's modern metal tones, aggression, style, and production. But actually really good production, not the clip to the fuck house that you normally get. The space on the mix was glorious. Top end had these little synth touches through it, which is beautiful. The bottom end was filled out by the drums and the bass nicely. The guitars were just thereabouts, but then Howard's vocal was given so much space to cut through and just sit up front, and it was beautifully executed. That in turn allowed things like the lyrics to come through really clearly, which was good because these songs are well written lyrically as well. Great stories being told in them. You could feel this, you could feel the intention and the emotion in the performances across the board, but that's really helped in the vocal front as well. I mean, fuck, there are some good riffs on this one. There's some good hooks in this too. This is catchier than you expect. You're talking about, modern metal, big punchy stuff, but this is catchy. This really gets stuck in your head. And I liked how there was some really nice subtlety applied in some of this mixing too. On the casual listen with the earbuds or whatever else you're going to listen to, it actually works pretty well. But you can put a deep dive listen when you go and put the good speakers or the good headphones on. This has a lot to take in. It feels really good. The aggression is here. The beauty is good in this. It's one of those ones that I call a sneaky good record, because you go in there, like, I don't really have a lot of expectations of Howard Jones. I'm not as big of a fan of the genre as you are, Tim, but I do appreciate it. But this is much more your world than mine out of the two of us. But this is fucking solid. I didn't have any sort of expectations going in. It's like, actually, this is good. And this is not tiring to listen to at all. For something that's aggressive, normally you get a bit of fatigue kicking in. But this has no fatigue associated with it at all. This is so easy to put on spin and just repeat it over and over again. Like you said, you're going to go and listen to it after we're done here. And it's one of those ones where I've given it a score now, but I think it could go higher and higher as the year goes on. It's one of those sneaky contenders for the end of the year. We sit there and go, actually, that one really just pipped everyone else at the post because it just stays with you. It's really, really memorable. So if you like it heavy, punchy, melodic, aggressive, intense, but really...
I will say this. If you like the heavier side of melodic rock, this might be worth a cheeky gateway listen.
Actually, that's a good point, because this has more of the synth and the up there vocal than
this has more of that uplifting vocal thing that you get from, or even a band like, if you liked, like power metal.
Yeah.
This has a lot of that uplifting. That's why I compare it to Bruce Dickinson. He's got a lot of that kind of stuff to it. It's definitely worth a cheeky listen if you like that stuff. Go in, don't expect, it is a modern heavy metal album, so don't expect clips, but there are little elements of that kind of style in here as well.
I see what you're saying. I agree, because there's a bit there. If you're a Maiden fan through to a melodic rock fan, there's something here that'll get your attention. It's got more crossover appeal than you might expect, which is a good one. So sneaky good. I reckon this is worth checking out. Check it out. 8.5 out of 10 for me, so it's only your score, but you're going.
If Nikki's watching, she should check this out too.
Actually, yeah. And I think Mick too, for that matter.
Yeah.
If Mick hasn't checked it out, Mick should check it out too. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 from me. Living with a Ghost, I Hate Myself, and Something Deep Inside of my standouts. It's funny how on this one, I normally don't gravitate toward the more aggressive ones, but on this one I did, which was cool.
They were awesome. They were awesome tracks.
Yeah, that was good.
It's great from start to finish.
Yep. Tim agrees with Tim for a vibe tonight. I'm generally not a fan of screamo vocals, but these guys do it in moderation, and how its melodic singing is brilliant. So there you go.